Hello, Stephenie Foster. Thank you so much for being with us tonight at this International Women's Rights Day. So please introduce yourself and tell us why this day is so important for you.
Well, hi, I'm Stephenie Foster. I am an author. I have a book, Take Action, Fighting for Women and Girls. I'm a consultant. I'm also doing a short project here at the U.S. State Department focusing on Afghan women. So I'm really pleased to be joining you. I know we originally met at a meeting focused on how to engage women globally on a broad set of issues. And the reason I think International Women's Day is so important is because it's all about what this meeting is about, which is about raising women's voices and making sure that women have the opportunity to be heard. You know, this day, by all accounts, started probably about 110 years ago with a focus on how to ensure that women had the right to vote. Again, not just in the United States, but globally in that time period, the early 1900s, that was a big movement for women's suffrage. So I think it's fitting that we continue to celebrate the day, look at what we've accomplished, and we have accomplished a lot, but there's still so much more to go. And I think it's great that we have International Women's Day. In the US, certainly March is also Women's History Month, so that we're able to really celebrate all the voices of women who are trying so hard to ensure that they're able to fully participate in society.
Yes, indeed. And your fight is really about women's rights. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, professionally speaking, in order for us to better understand your engagement on women's rights?
Yes, I mean, a couple of things I would highlight. I mean, just in terms of professionally, one thing I'm working on is a series. I'm a consultant, and we work with companies to ensure that as they are looking at their philanthropy, at their supply chains, at every aspect of their business, that they're focused on it with a gender lens. And so that encompasses, again, a broad range of entities. I'm also, as I said, doing a project at the State Department focusing on how we ensure that Afghan women's voices are heard in terms of the work we're doing in terms of relocation of Afghan women. But I would say also, and lastly, of course, I have written the one book, and I'm also writing a lot for a second book, which is on feminist foreign policy. So the idea there is to create a textbook that really focuses on how we've come to this interesting discussion about really centering foreign policy and national security decision-making with a gender lens. So it's a broad range of things, but I think that's probably what all of us do, is look for places across all of our work to make a difference. And then I would lastly say, and I think this is so important as we're talking about increasing women's voices, I'm really think it's important to ensure that we're bringing along other people. Again, whether it's men or women, from wherever, whatever your particular job is or community organization, but ensuring that as we are trying to create new opportunities, that we're making them available to other people as well.
Well, in France, we have what we're calling the feminist diplomacy action, that we're trying to have more diplomats. What do you think women should play in terms of peace education?
Yes, and I know France has been a leader in terms of feminist diplomacy and really been one of the countries that's been out there really advocating for an increased role for women at every level of diplomatic engagement. And I think that's true. There are lots of different avenues to think about getting more women in national security and foreign policy decision-making, everything from, being in the minister in charge of something, like whether it's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the Ministry of Defense, and also at the community level, how we engage women to make sure that they are focused on conflict prevention, mitigation, and really building better systems so that we can resolve conflict short of, violence and short of the kind of sort of ways that we tend to do it historically. So I think women are very important in terms of peace building. I think men are too. Really important to create community systems that allow that to happen. And I think that one thing we need to be sure we're doing is always looking at everything in the conflict resolution, mitigation world with a gender lens. How do women play a role? How do men play a role? How do we address some of the norms that lead us to getting to conflict more easily? How do we ensure that we have more women involved as mediators, and if you are in a conflict, as people who are representing the parties at the peace table? Because we do know that when women are engaged in peace negotiations, that the peace agreements that come out of those negotiations last longer. And the data shows they last anywhere from 2 to 10 years longer, which is quite a large span, but important because also we know that most peace agreements probably fall apart in about 5 years. So we really need to think about how to engage women, and again, think about women at every aspect of peace building, conflict resolution, and conflict mitigation.
Thank you very much, Stephenie. Maybe to finish this small, too short interview, could you tell us a small advice for women who would be inspired by your role model to become like you, a very important feminist, but also someone who is able to be a wonderful diplomat as well?
I think you have to really look at what you're passionate about and think about where you might learn the skills you need for that task. I also think it's important to know that the decision you make today in terms of your career may not be the decision that, carries you through forever. I find everyone's careers are sort of a zigzag, and I think we have to be okay with that. But I think the most important piece of advice I would have for young women is to literally claim your seat at the table, so that when you go to a meeting, if they're, sit at the table, don't sit in those chairs in the back. You deserve to be at the table. You deserve to really ensure that your views and your views and voice are heard. So I say claim the seat at the table. There's a famous saying in the US, if there's no seat at the table, drag one up there and sit there. And I think we need to do that always, to feel confident that our voices and views should be heard, and that we have every right to be at every table.
Beautiful. Thank you. I think, these words will resonate to the ears of all the people who are watching us tonight, and especially to just coming and play the game without feeling ashamed or being afraid. Thank you. Thank you for being so inspiring, Stephenie.
Thank you. And thanks for having me, and very nice to see you again.